I'm heading over to my scrap wood, and today I'm going to make a little bit of a random one by making a little box that actually folds out and into a little table. By now you just saw what it is, so you know what I'm talking about, but I wanted to share how I made it and how it works so that maybe you can impress your girlfriend or something on a picnic, I don't know. Anyway, I'll just start explaining how I did it. Enjoy. First I had to take some measurements, so the rectangle itself is 24 inches by 16, and then I just made lines and cut every 8 inches to make it into thirds, and that way I'll be able to put the hinges on. I picked up these 2-inch hinges just from Home Depot. I just placed the hinges where I wanted them, tried to keep it the same spacing on both sides, and then just screwed them in. I found that it was better to drill pilot holes first. Obviously, don't know why I didn't do that the first time, but drew pilot holes, then screwed it in. Make sure to check how long your screws are so that they don't poke out the other side, because I clearly made that mistake. Anyway, on to drilling the next ones. And then bang, look at that. We got working hinges. So then I took measurements and cut out little pieces to be the walls of the box and legs of the table, and I made them 8 inches by 7.5 inches, so almost square. Then for the legs, I made them each 3 inches by 8 inches, and I just traced lines and then cut them again with the circular saw. So here's what the legs look like, and then I just went and gave them a little sanding. Using these 1¼ inch screws, I tried my best to screw in all the legs, but I will say this part was a little bit awkward, and yeah, well, that's what happens when you are using crap plywood and are just throwing this thing together. But you know what? This was more of a project just for proof of concept, and I mean, I proved the concept, so I'll take it. These side legs were a little more tricky, but I just put 2 screws on each side and tried to space them so that they could evenly slide through. It wasn't my best work, but it worked. Remember those screws that were poking through? Yeah, well, I had to grind them all down. So when you do it, make sure to measure your screws and your plywood and make sure that they won't go through. At least now you get to enjoy these cool sparks. Then I was just measuring to make sure that when I attach the straps, I can staple them on evenly. And so I got these straps and just cut them about 16 inches each. But before I put on those straps, I wanted to paint it. So I prepared for paint and then painted. I had this kind of grayish, greenish color laying around that I figured why not use for this. So I just mixed it up and painted it straight on. Now it was time to staple on those straps, so I just put one on each side, and then I went back and did an extra just for added support. So clearly this wasn't the craziest build or the highest quality build, but it was more just to try it out and see if it would work. And I think if this was done with different materials and maybe scaled up a bit, I mean, I think it could be a pretty cool little contraption. So anyway, I thought I'd share it with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, feel free to leave a comment with any suggestions for how I could have made this bigger or better or both, and maybe in the future I'll make an improved version, but for now, this is all I got. Well, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.